what we're going to do might be pretty boring for you for this part too. We're just going to knit 12 rounds for the wrist portion. So we're just going to keep knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting for 12 rounds. So I'm going to start off with round 1. So you're just going to knit all the stitches. Now I didn't know if you guys noticed this about me, but I knit, I guess, what would be considered wrong. When you knit, you're supposed to wrap the yarn this way and pull it through. However, when I learned to knit, I learned to pull the yarn up in between the hooks and knit this way. So if you're looking at it and saying, that kind of looks funny and it's not exactly what I'm doing, it's perfectly fine to knit this way. If you notice, it makes it lean a little different though. See, if you wrap it this way, the lean is different. But I've noticed that it really doesn't make that much of a difference in the finished look of the piece. And I haven't studied knitting enough to know. So now we're going to go on to round 2. If it really makes that huge of a difference, I have tried to relearn and reteach myself, but you gotta admit I've got years and years and years of knitting the wrong way under my belt. So reteaching myself this pattern that's basically become, you know, entrenched in my brain, it just is not going to work. And if you do knit this way, it's perfectly and completely fine and it's not a big deal. And if you knit the other way, it's also perfectly and completely fine. When I first started, I was also knitting through the back loop like this every time I knit and not through the front loop. And I think, you know, every time you knit, you grow and learn and everything. I am now on round 3 of 12. So we're just growing out the wrist. This is how long you want it to be on your actual wrist before we start the thumb gusset portion. I would say throwing the yarn for me is faster. Some people pick the yarn, like they pick it up, and I can't figure out how they do that. That's what's so unique about knitting, is that there's so many different ways to do it, and everyone really has their own style. For example, some people hold the yarn in their right hand, and I don't see how you hold the yarn and a needle in your right hand. And one of the things that was easier for crocheting, switching to crochet for me, is that in crochet you hold the yarn in your left hand too. So since I already held the yarn in my left hand when I was knitting, I think I had an easier time learning how to crochet. This is a tedious part where you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it's really not that fun. I mean, it's still fun for me. It's fun to watch my piece grow. And I love the look of just knitting every stitch. It kind of looks like braids right next to each other, and I'm a big fan of like the Celtic style and all the braids they have and all their elaborate stuff. So That's another reason I like this. Whoops. I forgot what row I'm on. When I forget what row I'm on, I pull it up and look at the stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can count these little braided portions. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm on the 5th stitch. You don't count the loops that are already on the hook, so this wouldn't count as a row. So I'm on the 5th row out of 12. And we're just going to keep knitting, 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 around and around and around and around. It's one of the things you do when you have a toddler in your house, is that you just break out in song randomly for no reason whatsoever. One time I left my son at home with my husband, and I was driving down the road with the windows open, and I'm so used to singing to my son when he's in the car, because he gets, you know, tired of being stuck in the back seat, and he's still rear facing, so he can't really see me, and the sun gets in his eyes sometimes. He's only 15 months, and we plan on rear facing till at least 2. I think that's the law in our state anyway. And he's only 21 pounds, so he's a little guy. And I started singing, and I was by myself, by the way, my son wasn't with me, nursery rhymes while driving down the road with my windows open. I think a few people were staring at me really weirdly, and I felt kind of embarrassed. It was a little bit embarrassing for me, but such is life, such is life. It was amusing. Have you ever done something embarrassing like that? Whenever I go somewhere alone, I always check my card just to make sure that I didn't forget him or something. A lot of people I've heard of people leaving their kids in their cars and not realizing they're with them, and that just terrifies me, even though I think that would never happen to me, but I'm sure that everyone thinks that. We are still knitting. I think I'm on row 7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 7 out of 12. We're almost there to start on the thumb gusset. I decided not to put any music on these videos so that you guys can listen to whatever music you want in the background. When I first started making YouTube videos, I thought the whole video needed music on it, and my first videos are pretty terrible because of that. I get comments on them all the time like, I can't hear what you're saying because of the music, and I'm like, ugh, I'm so sorry. I was a horrible YouTuber in the beginning. I'm probably not much better now, but I do think I've learned a few things since I've started doing this. And I love making knitting and crochet videos. Round 8 out of 12. However, when I have a baby, I can only make videos during his nap time, because if I try any other time, it's just baby noises in the background, and then he gets frustrated and upset, and he wants me to play with him, and while he's small now, I want to play with him, and it's hard to take time to do what I love. But, I mean, he's going to grow up really fast, and then I can make videos every day again like I used to. But for right now, I know that I need to be a mom, and I don't have as much time to dedicate to making these videos. Now I've lost track of what row I'm on again. I'm sure you guys do that too. Sometimes I'll keep a piece of paper and I'll make a mark on the paper after every row. But even then, sometimes I'll forget to put a mark, and then I'll be up a creek without a paddle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12. So we're going to go on to round 9. This is round 9. I wonder if I say it enough, it'll get stuck in my head and I won't forget that it's round 9. I do want to teach my son and my daughter to knit. I'm not currently pregnant and I don't have a daughter yet, but I do have a son and I think boys can knit just as well as girls, and one day he can make his significant other, if he ever chooses to date or to get married, he can make them gloves and scarves and hats, and I bet that would just tickle them pink. So now we just have 2 more rows of knitting to go. Filming myself knitting really helps me know how long it actually takes me to make stuff. Sometimes it seems like it takes forever for me to finish things, and then sometimes it seems like I finish things so quickly where has the time gone and I'm trying to figure out what to make next. But it actually does take a significant amount of time to create things from scratch and work with your hands, and it's very rewarding, but it's also very time consuming, and it takes time away from other things, which is why I don't have a lot of time to do it now, because I do have a lot more priorities. Raising a son and having more laundry and having a family to take care of. Especially since we're paleo because of my autoimmune issues. I'm going to count to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks like I still have 2 more rows to go. Must have miscounted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 more rounds. I must have been wrong the other time when I thought I only had 2 more rounds. Apparently I had 3 more rounds then. It's fine, we're just winging it. We're just winging it. I think I'm getting a package. You better not ring my doorbell because my child's asleep. And if they ring my doorbell, I'm going to be really upset with them. I need to get one of those signs that says, "Young children napping. If you ring my doorbell, I will cry and you will have an awake baby." Sorry, I'm trying to look out the window to see about my package. Don't ring the doorbell. Don't ring the doorbell. Don't ring the doorbell. She didn't ring the doorbell. I love her. I love her so much. But now I have a package out that I can get when my son wakes up and open it. I'll put it on my daily vlog if you guys are interested in seeing it. If you guys are interested in seeing my life more than just my knitting, I do daily vlog every day. Sometimes I'll take a day off here and there, but I try to do it every day because it's something that's really easy to do, to film my life as it's happening, and it gives me that creative outlet that I crave as a single stay-at-home mom. I mean, I'm not single, as I'm the single person that stays at home is what I mean. My husband works. That came out wrong. As a lonely stay-at-home mom, because I mean, I just stay home all day. We go to the park and to the library sometimes, but very rarely, maybe like once a month, with just me and Ruben. But vlogging is awesome. Alright, so now I'm going to measure this up with the second glove just to make sure that it matches. It does. So this is the end of part 2. We finished the cuff part. The next part is going to be the thumb gusset part. So I'll see you for part 3. Bye!